Morning. A sunny, bright day. The day after Christmas, there are about 10 more people in here than I thought there would be. We didn't know how many cushions to put out this morning. Anyway, welcome. Welcome anybody who's new. Anybody who's new, don't do anything you don't want to do. You're going to see people standing, bowing, jumping, maybe, I don't know. But just be happy, be free, be comfortable. Don't do anything you don't want to do. Except right now, we're going to recite our opening gata, which is on page 7. And we say together,
I go for refuge to Buddha, my deeply awakened mind, the living source of understanding and compassion, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to Dharma, the path of mindful living, leading to healing, joy, and enlightenment, the way of peace, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I go for refuge to the Sangha, the loving and supportive community of practice, realizing harmony, awareness, and liberation, which must be cultivated to be known fully. I am aware that the three jewels are within my heart. I vow to realize them. I vow to understand living beings and their suffering. I vow to cultivate loving kindness and compassion and to practice joy and equanimity. I vow to live simply and sanely, content with few possessions and to keep my body healthy. I vow to let go of all worry and anxiety in order to be light and free. I am aware that I owe so much to my parents, teachers, friends, and all beings. I vow to be worthy of their trust, to practice wholeheartedly, so that understanding and compassion will flower, and I can help living beings be free from their suffering. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts. May the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha support my efforts.
you know, your book reading, we will chant, sing, whatever we do, the Heart Sutra. And to remind you that we do the title at the beginning and the end. And just for those of you who don't understand, within Buddhism, the word Dhamma means two different things. Dharma with an uppercase D is speaking about the teachings of the Buddha. Dharma with a lowercase d, as it appears here in the third stanza, the first line. A lowercase d, you could replace that word Dharma with the word thing. So all things. The teaching about is speaking about.
Maha Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra. The Bodhisattva of great connection from the deep practice of Prajna Paramita perceived the emptiness of all five skandhas and delivered all beings from their suffering. O Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form, form is emptiness, emptiness form. The same is true of feeling, thought, impulse, and consciousness. O Shariputra, all dharmas are empty, they are not born nor annihilated, they are not defiled nor immaculate, they do not increase nor decrease. So in emptiness, no form, no feeling, no thought, no impulse, no consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no form, sound, smell, taste, touch, or objects of mind, no realm of sight, no realm of consciousness, no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, no old age and death, no extinction of them, no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cease from suffering, no path to lead out of suffering, no knowledge, no attainment, no realization, for there is nothing to attain. The Bodhisattva holds on to nothing but prajna, paramita. Therefore the mind is clear of any delusive hindrance. Without hindrance there is no fear. Away from all perverted views, one reaches final nirvana. All Buddhas of past, present, and future, through faith in prajna, paramita, attain to the highest perfect enlightenment. Know then the prajna, paramita, is the great dharani, the radiant fearless mantram, the utmost supreme mantram, which is capable of allaying all pain. This is true beyond all doubt. Proclaim now the highest wisdom, the prajna, paramita. Gate, gate, para gate, para samgate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, para gate, para samgate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, para gate, Parasangate Bodhisvaha. Dhammapada Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra.
Please be seated. I know sometimes the Heart Sutra can be difficult to wrap one's mind around. If you think about the morning bell chant, okay, I'll just sit down here. Oh, that's all right. I can sit down. I'm an old man. To wrap your mind around the morning, the Heart Sutra can be difficult. Think about the morning bell chant, that one line in there that everyone seems to grab onto. That line that says, everything is created by mind alone. That's reminding us that we give name, quality, purpose to absolutely everything. And that's what the Heart Sutra is reminding us. Nothing is what it is until we name it what it is. It is simply itself. Anyway, before I lose myself, I'm going to talk today about a specific chapter from the Dhammapada. Now, Buddhist scripture, if you were to look at the library in there, Buddhist scripture in the Pali Canon is probably 52, 53 volumes long, volumes like this. And it's massive. And no one that I know has ever read all of it. I suppose there are people. I've tried to, but even I'm not that geeky. But anyway, the Dhammapada, which can be translated as the path of wisdom, the way of wisdom, is bits and pieces taken out of the vastness of the scripture and put into little chapters, little vegas, as they call them. The chapter I'm going to share with you to talk about today, chapter 19, Dhammapada Vaga or Vaja, and I wish Dee were here to help me with the Pali pronunciation. It means, it could be translated as the just, the righteous, or the establishment of the Dharma. And I'm going to be sharing from two different translations. And so I've got my cliff notes here to keep me on track. But I may get mixed up. I don't know. Anyway, I'm this one already mixed up, right? Now, this hall, when we walk into the hall, we bow not to anything. We bow to the hall itself out of respect, because this hall is a place of learning. And we learn by sharing, by speaking, by listening. So I'm going to read you a stanza. We're going to try to get through all 13 of them, 15 of them, but we may not. I've got about 20 minutes to do this, so we'll do what we can do. But if at any point while I'm sharing, if you have a question or you perceive something differently or you would like to share something, just raise your hand. And I can learn, we can all learn perhaps from your perspective. Okay, stanzas 256 and 257. I'll read them together. And after I've read, I'm going to share what my initial feeling of it was. And then I'm going to share what the Nada Thera, he was a Sri Lankan monk. He took all of the verses, all of the stanzas from the Dhammapada, and every time the Buddha spoke, he spoke in response to a particular event. And Nada Thera went through scripture and collected all the reasons why these verses were spoke, these stanzas. So I'm going to share the verse, the stanza, my opinion or my first impression, and then why the Buddha spoke it. Okay, the first one says, he is not thereby just because he hastily arbitrates cases. The wise man should investigate both right and wrong. The intelligent person who leads others, not falsely, but lawfully and impartially, who is a guardian of the law, is called one who abides by the law. And I don't know why, maybe something had happened in my life, but I remember years ago when I read that stanza, I made a note and I thought, even words can be violent. And I don't know why I came up with that stanza, but that was perhaps something in my life. But remember, the Buddha said that our tongue can be like a sharp axe. We can cause sometimes more pain, more hurt with our mouth than with a weapon. That's not quite why the Buddha spoke this. Apparently, there were some judges in the area where the Buddha was at that time who were very amiable to taking a bribe. And then they would decide that case based on the bribe. And so some of the Buddha's monks heard about this and they went and spoke to the Buddha, and he said these words. You know, you can't just say that you're a judge or that you understand the law or that you obey the law or that you follow the law or whatever, and then not. Stanza 258. One is not thereby a learned man merely because he speaks much. He who is secure without hate and fearless is called learned. Can sometimes get carried away with my own mouth. Sometimes get carried away. I've been studying Buddhism for 25 years, and I know it all, right? So I know all the answers. So I get lost in my own foolishness. And that's about it. So the reason the Buddha spoke these words was kind of the same way. There were 6 monks who were going around telling everybody they understood things better even than the Buddha. And they were rephrasing, re-expressing, correcting his teachings. And this caused a lot of confusion and a lot of problems. And so the Buddha spoke these words that just because someone says they're wise, or even because someone has a diploma, does not necessarily mean so. And I have proven that every day I've been here, and many of you have heard me do that. So, 259. One is not versed in the Dharma merely because one speaks much. He who hears little and sees the Dharma mentally, and who does not neglect the Dharma, is indeed versed in the Dharma. I would say I have had a person in here one time, somebody asked me a question and this person jumped in and answered it for me. And they had no idea what they were talking about. And that can be a real issue, and not only within Buddhism, but with other religious traditions, with other political ideas, with recipes, or how do I fix my engine in my car? Someone who thinks they know what they're talking about, but really don't, can cause a lot of problems. And why this is so important to me is because, once again, I know everything, or I act like I do. And I can cause problems if I don't stop and think about what I'm saying and why I'm saying it and where I got the information I'm speaking. I'm going to read from Ignatius Warren. This is the translation, by the way, we give to the preceptors. It has a great introduction to the practice. And before each chapter, it has a little introduction. It's a wonderful, wonderful translation. Gray hair does not make an elder. One can grow old and still be immature. A true elder is truthful, virtuous, gentle, self-controlled, and pure in mind. And that speaks for itself. I'm not gray-haired, I don't have hair, but I'm gray-bearded. But that doesn't make me wise. It's not even knowing what the Buddha said makes me wise. It is putting into practice those things that the Buddha suggests or offers us as aids. You know, he says meditation helps. Try it. If it helps, do it. If it doesn't, try something else. You know, being kind is probably the better way to be than being violent. I wouldn't say try those things, but we all have. I apologize. I'm sure there's some people here who's never been violent, but we understand what loss of temper can be. It's not the best thing. Neither pleasant words nor a pretty face can make beautiful a person who is jealous, selfish, or deceitful. Only those who have uprooted such impurities from the mind are fit to be called beautiful. The ancient Greeks, who gave us so much, had a peculiar idea that if someone was just and wise, they were beautiful. If they were homely or crippled, they weren't. There was a problem. That's a very primitive and cruel approach. The Buddha spoke this because older monks were jealous of that a younger monk had been made novice master, and they were just jealous of him because he's younger. That you can't call him Tara, which means elder. The Buddha says we can because he's wise. Wisdom doesn't come necessarily with age. Was it 2 weeks ago when Tungjin Su gave his talk on anger. Thank you. Tungjin Su is probably, he's not 30 yet, is he? Is he? Okay. Tang Jinsu is, the moment I met him, I knew this was a special man. He is one of the most grounded people I've ever met in my life. Grounded in the Dharma, grounded in his own understanding of things. And of course, he had to move away because of business to New Orleans, but we're going to have him on, give a talk here on big screen TV once in a while. But Tang Jinsu is a young man, and I call him teacher, I call him elder. It hasn't to do with age, it has to do with his understanding and his living. That is just as important, living that understanding. I can preach the Dharma all day long. But if I then go home, kick my dog, beat up the neighbor kid, and then get drunk and pass out in the front yard, doesn't mean very much, does it? I'm sorry, that's silly, but you know what I mean. Yeah. Okay. I'm keeping pretty good with notes, aren't I? $260. Okay, 4. Shaving one's head does not make a monk if the man is undisciplined, untruthful, or driven by desires. He is a real monk who has extinguished all selfish desires, large and small. That, again, speaks the same thing. A symbol of the monastic order is to shave our heads. That is just to help people understand that we have made a decision to live life guided by the specific rules of the monastic order. But just because you shave your head does not mean you are wise, does not mean you are living the practice. Just because I have a Buddha on a chain around my neck, or because I have a statue, or I burn incense, or I hold a mala, does not make me a practitioner. What makes me a practitioner is to practice the teachings, the suggestions that the Buddha gave us. And I want to emphasize that word, suggestions. No one is under any obligation to do anything that the Buddha suggested. You're not going to go to heaven if you do. You're not going to go to hell if you don't. What will happen, you will find out yourself. The Buddha said, the only thing we own are our actions, our words, our thoughts, our deeds. We inherit the results of our actions. That's what we inherit. Not heaven, not hell, our actions. Observing silence can make a sage of one who is ignorant and immature. He is wise who, holding the scales, chooses the good and avoids the bad. I'm going to read the other translation too. It's amazing. We have a book study on Thursday, and we've gone through things before where we've read different translations, and sometimes translators can help us even understand things a different way when they use different words. Where are we? Not by silence alone does he who is dull and ignorant become a sage, but that wise man who is, as if holding a pair of scales, embraces the best and shuns evil, is indeed a sage. For that reason, he is a sage. He who understands is a sage. And you understand, Buddhism is called a tradition, an experiential tradition. It means we have to experience it. I thought I understood Buddhism when I used to read all my Buddhist books. It wasn't until I met Professor Gibson and we started meditating together and then established a group in Easttown that it started to dawn on me what the practice truly was. And then when Daikwan Sunam contacted me and asked if I wanted to help set up a temple, that's when it really hit that the only way for me to truly experience what the Buddha is teaching, to truly experience what he offers, to truly experience that toolbox he presents, I have to interact with other practitioners and even non-practitioners. Because, as I said before, when I'm alone, when I'm in the woods all by myself, I'm the best guy you're ever going to meet, sweetest guy in the world. It's when I'm interacting with other people that I can prove there's a child here, so I have to watch my mouth, what a jerk I can be. And you remember Brad Warner, he wrote that lovely book, Don't Be a Jerk. That is one of the wisest Buddhist sayings I have ever heard. Don't be a jerk. To me, to you, to the cushion, to that paper, to anybody. And the only way I can learn not to be a jerk is by interacting. And I can look in this room and see 4 people I have been true jerks with, and I apologize once again, but we learn. I think we'll have time for meditation. I'll just try this one. I'm sorry for this back and forth, y'all. One is not noble who injures living creatures. They are noble who hurt no one. Now, the reason I really like this is because the word noble is very, very, very important in Buddhism. The Pali word is Arya. And I'm not a linguist, but I don't know if the Aryans who came into India and conquered it, if that word means, I'm looking at 2 wisest people in here, I know, if that word means noble or not. But the Buddha says, you are not Arya, you are not a noble. You are not a noble person if you are killing is one thing, but harming, and we can harm by more than just smacking. We can harm by our words, like I said, the 2-edged sword. We can put a child down. We can insult our spouse in front of other people. We can dump an ashtray out of our car onto the parking lot. All of that is injurious. One of the most important aspects of Buddhism is awareness, to be always aware of what I'm doing, what I'm saying, what I'm thinking. That's why meditation is so important. On that cushion, we learn to be aware of our thoughts, of our emotions, of what's going on the street. We're aware of them without becoming involved in them. So those years of practice on that cushion, I'm off the cushion living my life. I can learn through experience that I've learned on the cushion when an emotion is coming, when something is coming that I don't want there. That's a powerful statement. I don't want, but I don't want. I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be hurtful. Doesn't mean I'm not. But we can learn through the practice of meditation to be aware when these moments come. And the last 2 stanzas. Not by rituals and resolutions, nor by much learning, nor by celibacy, nor by lighting the incense, can we find the immortal joys of nirvana. Not until all of our self-will has been extinguished. And that's what the word nirvana means. It means cooling, blowing out. The Buddha speaks of the 3 poisons. Any negativity, any unwholesome act, thought, words that are in this being I call me, if I examine them, I will find every single time that those negative things have come from either greed or hatred or delusion, you can call it desire, anger, or ignorance, but they are the parents of all that negativity. And when we can free ourselves from those three poisons, that is when we can experience nirvana. And that is why several times in all our lives we have experienced nirvana. It is when those experiences aren't far apart, when they get closer and closer, and then it's totally, I didn't knock it over, totally. So to the other part of that stanzas was the statuary, the malas, the incense. Once again, I said this earlier, those things do not mean that I am a practitioner. They are there, they're good, they're helpful, they help me focus. But I have a very large collection of Buddha statues people have given to me as gifts. I've been slowly giving them away the older I get, because when I die, I don't want to leave Sam with a whole bunch of statues he has to find homes for. But none of those things mean I was going to say perfect man, that I am a practitioner. What makes me a practitioner is the practice: honesty, justice. What are the 5 precepts? To respect and protect life, to respect and protect the property of others, to respect and protect sexual boundaries, to respect and protect the truth and the spoken word, and to respect and protect our own body and mind. If I can do that on a really good daily basis and get better every day, I consider myself a practitioner. But I'm going to tell you right now, before I get in my car and drive home, I'm going to screw up. I apologize. There it is. All right. Any comments or questions? We are going to sit in meditation, so please prepare yourself. We bow. Any announcements? No? We have our discussion group here on Thursday at 9:30. We meditate. 10 o'clock, we discuss. This right now, we're doing fragrant palm leaves. These are it's a section of Thich Nhat Hanh's journals. Anything else? Anybody? All right, page 9, and we will do our clothing gathas. And stretch your leg, get my heart going. And together we say, we're all ever created by me as a whole, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thoughts. Now I atone for them all. Vast is the robe of compassion, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Buddhist teachings for the benefit of all sentient beings. All beings, one body, I vow to liberate. Endless blind passion, I vow to uproot. Dharma gates without number, I vow to penetrate. The great way of Buddha, I vow to attain. Dharma wheel without number. There are many, many ways to practice. Would all of you people on this side turn this way? And all of you turn this way? Let's give each other a nice bow to the end of the year. Yes. Enjoy the sunny day.
Thank you.